Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to discuss the basic steps in oxidation of fatty acids. So we will discuss the basic steps in fatty acid oxidation. So there are three basic steps in fatty acid oxidation. The first stage involves the beta oxidation of fatty acid, which we will discuss in detail. Okay. Second step is the transformation of these fatty acids into acetyl CoA. So the fatty acids, these fatty acids which are formed, they are transformed into acetyl CoA via the citric acid cycle or the TCA cycle. Okay, and the third stage involves the electron transport chain. Okay, so we will see how these processes are integrated. So suppose you have a 12 carbon fatty acid. So let me draw this 12 carbon fatty acid. CH3, CH2, okay, so this is the 12 carbon fatty acid which we have drawn here. So this is just just an example which I want to show. So this is basically called as this is the palmitic acid or the palmitate that I have drawn. Okay, so now basically what happens in fatty acid oxidation, so most common is the beta oxidation. So from each of these like fatty acid chain, from these two carbon atoms are taken and converted into the acetyl CoA. So what happens, the fatty acids undergo oxidative removal of successive two carbon units. So first of all, here suppose these two carbon units become one acetyl CoA. Okay, then again these two carbon units become another molecule of acetyl CoA. Okay, so like this. So from a 16 carbon, so if you have a 16 carbon chain fatty acid, in total you will get 8 acetyl CoA molecules. Okay, so this is very important question which comes in almost all competitive exams. So they give you roughly one carbon chain. Suppose you have 20, they ask you, you have a 20 carbon chain fatty acid, how many molecules of acetyl CoA will be formed? Okay, so answer will be, you just divide it by 2, so answer will be 10 molecules, like this. So from the fatty acids, successive 2 carbon units are removed in the form of acetyl CoA, starting from the carboxylic end of the fatty acid chain. So this is the carboxylic end of the fatty acid chain. So these 2 carbon atoms will be removed first as acetyl CoA. Okay, then these 2 carbon atoms as second, then these carbon atoms at third. Okay, so fatty acid removal as acetyl CoA starts from the carboxylic end of the chain. Okay, so now all the successive 2 carbon units are removed from the fatty acid as acetyl CoA. So this step is called as the beta oxidation. Okay, beta oxidation, how exactly it occurs, beta oxidation, we will see in our video. So this is actually the step 1. Okay, removal of the carbon atoms as acetyl CoA molecules, beta oxidation. Okay, so what happens? So by beta oxidation, from 16 carbon chain you get 8 acetyl CoA molecules. 8 acetyl CoA molecules. So in the subsequent step, this acetyl CoA enters the citric acid cycle. Okay, so this is the TCA cycle. So from 8 acetyl CoA molecules you will get 16 carbon dioxide, because one acetyl CoA molecule generates 2 carbon dioxide via citric acid. So 6. So this is the step 2. So what is happening here? If you see in this stage the fatty acid oxidation, what is happening? The acetyl CoA residues are oxidized to CO2. Okay, so you are getting the acetyl CoA, this acetyl CoA are getting oxidized to CO2 via the TCA cycle, which takes place in the mitochondrial matrix. So this step 1, okay, this took place in the mitochondrial matrix. Beta oxidation occurs in mitochondrial matrix. And the second step, where acetyl CoA is converted into CO2, this is also takes place in the mitochondrial matrix. Okay, so what is the significance of this step? This acetyl CoA derived from the fatty acid enters a common pathway of oxidation. Okay, so this is the common pathway of oxidation. So what is the significance? Acetyl CoA derived from fatty acid enters common pathway of oxidation. Okay, so this is step 2. Now what is the third step? So the third step is basically, if you remember, in TCA cycle you get what? ATP, you get NADPH, right? You get NADH and FADH2 by TCA cycle, and in beta oxidation also you get NADH and FADH2. So these reducing equivalents you get from both the processes. So these reducing equivalents which are formed, these enter the respiratory chain or the electron transport chain, ETC. So as a result, what happens? From ADB ATP formation happens, and from hydrogen water formation happens. Okay, so this is step 3. Okay, so is this clear? So what is happening finally? If you see here, what is happening finally? So you have one fatty acid, which is getting converted. So this is the step 1, which is getting converted into acetyl CoA, and this acetyl CoA enters the TCA cycle, and from the TCA cycle you are getting reducing equivalents, which ultimately goes into the electron transport chain. So ultimate process is the formation of ATP along with formation of some water molecules. So this is the general mechanism how any oxidation of fatty acid occurs. There are three main types of fatty acid oxidation. So one is the beta oxidation of fatty acid. Okay, one is the alpha oxidation of fatty acid, and another is the omega oxidation of fatty acid. So we will see all the oxidations in our subsequent lecture videos. For now, this is the general basic steps how a fatty acid oxidation occurs.